All right, guys. So here is our boot camp work group session. You've probably just watched us go through a health assessment or an assessment of someone's current reality and where they want to go and what that looks like. And now we're going to actually work on this together. And so as we're getting started here, this is week 3, work group session 1. And so we're going to get started on that now. And what I'm curious about, for those of you that watched us go through that, what kinds of questions I had a couple people that had their hands up that may have some comments about that. So Doris, you're up first. I'll unmute you. Go ahead.
My question is, when you interview somebody, do you have them on a Zoom like we were, and are they seeing what you're asking them and you're writing it down?
No.
Okay, so how do you do that when you're on a Zoom with them? So
I would just have a piece of paper in front of me, or I would have Zoom here, and if I'm going to fill it out electronically, which I would just have my health assessment on one side and my Zoom window on the other side. You could have your phone be on Zoom on your phone and be on your computer with the assessment. Yeah, I mean, I printed one out. I've got one sitting here right in front of me. You can always use it.
How much do you print out? Is it just one page?
Well, it's front and back. Yep. But all those questions that I asked him were all on page 1. But there is a page 2 if he says yes. If he said, yes, I want to move forward, I would say, if we had time. If we didn't have time, I'd set up another meeting, for within 12 hours, real quick, 12, 24 hours. But I would ask him, are you pregnant, or, diabetes, high blood pressure, allergies, whatever. But if it's a guy, I wouldn't say, are you pregnant? But
there you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope not.
Chris was a little confused. I saw a confused look on Chris.
Yeah.
He was wondering if he could be pregnant instead of his wife. But yeah.
Maybe.
Okay, so thanks.
One thing there, though, the main thing is that you're trying to build a relationship with somebody. And so if they can see your face and you can see their face, that's the best way, right? If it's just telephone, I want you to hear my voice, though. It's okay to do a telephone interview. Let's say you're really struggling with trying to get a Zoom going and it's just not working. Drop it. Pick up the telephone and have a conversation.
Or if you use a messenger, we'll go back to that. If you're going through the messenger, that's why a lot of times, Craig, when I first meet that person, I might not say, hey, why don't you download Zoom and we do Zoom? Hey, you know what? We're just gonna do messenger video. It's right here. You don't have to do anything.
Mm-hmm. But just figure it out. Always know that face-to-face, you can't hear when I'm doing this, right? You can't hear that. And when I go, you can't hear that. If I'm confused and you're on a telephone, you can't hear it. But you can't do anything if you're not even on the telephone. So telephone is great. Face-to-face is better. I don't think that in person, it's better in some ways, but it handicaps you in other ways because then you got regional concerns. So I would say that video chat is probably the best, all things considered. So Martin, you had your hand up. Go ahead, Martin.
Yeah, make sure I'm unmuted. It was just a thought on that question when it's the weight question, or not the weight question, but the health question. And some people give us an answer of what they think they can achieve. They want to shortchange their goals. Well, I would just like to get to 200 pounds. Mm-hmm. And I would just had a thought of asking that a little bit differently as you're going through that is, well, where's an area that would just kind of make you smile? Mm-hmm. If you could get to there, what would make you smile? Mm-hmm. Now, if you could just think of that, that's a great place to be. And this is kind of where to put you on a health. Where's something that would just really rock your socks?
Mm-hmm. So that would be Martin's terminology, right? And so another way of unpacking that future.
Right.
Yep. That's good. And that there's things, make this your own. If that's you and how you talk, try to create the future and try to awaken them to something that works for you.
Yeah, painting a picture is important because you're wanting to remember, just like I said at the beginning, Craig does it the way he does it, and he still follows the
I
script.
can only do it the way I do it, by the way.
Right. So you are your only you. But, you know, as we look at all the others on this Zoom, you know, there are individuals that might not do it like that. They'll still follow the script, but they'll do it in their own way because it's their personality.
And you'll notice that. So it's the outline of information you're going to need. You're going to need to know where they are. You're going to need where they want to be. You figure out how to ask the words to get that information. And then you're going to talk about some daily routines and habits, right? Sleep, hydration, motion, stress, eating habits, and weight, right? You're going to have to go through all those. And then you go into health considerations. If they qualify for the 5 and 1, you'll know based upon that. And then you're like, okay, well, let's get going. You know, I'm going to set you up. You know, usually if they say yes, I'm like, great. Well, part of working with me is I'll get you enrolled. I just need some of your data. I need to know your phone number. Or you probably have that. I need to know your address. I need to know your email address, and then which credit card do you want to put it on.
Carolyn also had her hand up.
Oh yeah, Carolyn, go ahead.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
I wanted to say something that I have found that's worked very powerful for me. I think new people might get hung up on the BMI chart, you know, and what I have found that sometimes, especially for men, because it's so much lower than they have in their mind, and most people we talk to, like myself, have failed on diets in the past. So they don't even have the mindset in the beginning that they can even lose 20 pounds, let alone get to a BMI chart.
Mm-hmm.
So what I have found is that I just mention it. And like Craig said, you don't have to do that. That's your choice, which is really important. But what I have found is as you work with them and as they see it's possible down the road, most of the time people will tell me a completely different weight in the beginning than they do in a month or 2 months. So don't get caught up on that. It's okay. It's just about taking the first step.
Mm-hmm.
And once I say that to them, I say, you know what? This is a chart. You're not a chart. We're going to begin the journey and we can set up new goals as we move on. And that kind of releases the pressure of, oh my God, I've got to lose 70 pounds instead of the original 20 that I thought.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes people get hung up on that. I just wanted to say it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Just start them on the journey because their mind's going to change as you go through it along with their body.
Yeah, and that last piece there is critical. Help them with what they want, right?
Exactly.
Not what you want. Help them with what they want. If they want to lose 10 pounds, help them lose 10 pounds. And then guess what? Help them with what they want at that point. And then help them with what they want at the next point, right? Don't try to give them the next 10 points because they don't want those 10 points. They can't even see that yet. And so what I found is helping them understand at least where the beginning of the healthy zone is. And it's sort of this number that will kind of be in the back of their head. And then like Carolyn says, let's get you to that first number and you tell me if you're done, right? I'm going to help you nail that first goal, right? And so all those things are really critical. But if someone just wants to lose weight, I don't want to learn stupid healthy habits. Help them lose weight. And as they're losing weight, their new goal will probably be to keep it off. So then help them keep it off. What are you going to do? Well, you're going to have to build some habits, right? So help people with what they want. I'm telling you, it's amazing. So now for our activity session, we are in our work group. So what I need you to do is, first of all, we're going to go find, I can put the links in there, but rather than just giving you the links, what I want to do is have you guys go and find the new health assessment. Okay. And so we're going to take probably 5 minutes. And if you guys, when you found the health assessment and when you're ready to go, you have it downloaded and up on your computer, maybe you print it out, then you can raise your virtual hand, right? And so I'm going to give you a quick little tour of where to find it. So you go to Coach Answers, www.optavia.com. That's going to take you to this page. Then you click on Business Support, and then Document Library. And then you're going to search for Health. And you see this second one on here is Health Assessment Fillable. And then the second one here is Health Assessment with the Guidelines. So they have these guidelines that are listed here. Well, you can have the health assessment with this in it, or you can have the health assessment with this separate. And so you have with guidelines and without the guidelines, right? And then you can just do the guidelines separate. But you're going to download the health assessment. That's the fillable version. And if you want to do the guidelines too, that's great. And then we're going to give you guys about 3 to 5 minutes to do that. And when you're done, raise your hand. Ready? Go.
There's only a few people on here.
We're not very many people on the call.
Yeah.
Should have about half of you guys are got this. If you don't know how to raise your hand, go to participants, and then at the bottom of the participants window, you should see a button that says raise hand. And you don't want it. So Denise, you if you're trying to Google Coach Answers, don't Google it. Just actually type in the address in the URL, coachanswers.optavia.com. You don't need to search for it because searching will give you the URL, but we already know the URL, so just type it in the URL window. So Melissa, coachanswers.optavia.com, and then go to Document Library, and then type in Health Assessment.
Hey, Craig.
Yep.
I can't get, okay, you have your screen on here. I can't even get on my screen.
Aha. So are you on an iPad or a
Yes, I'm on my computer.
Okay. So up on the top of the window, there over on the right hand side, it will say exit full screen.
No. There's just a little lock thing and there's a recording. That's all I see. I'm looking at yours. I'm looking at your screen. Like.
Right. I know. Yeah. So what you want to do is you want to make the screen not full screen. So, because right now, are you in full screen?
Oh, there. Now it's gone.
Well, now it would be, but that doesn't solve your problem.
No.
But so go out of full screen right now.
I'm not in full screen.
You're not.
I can look at mine now, but when you showed me yours, I can't even look at my computer.
Right. But
yeah.
but there's a way of doing this. So I'm going to solve this for you.
Okay. Please.
You've got to find a way to, all you see is my screen. So up on in the very top where the Zoom window is, on the far right, there's like a little caret or something you can click on.
That's full.
There's a little tab that's kind of at the top of your screen.
I keep moving you, but I don't know.
No, it's not the video window. It's not the video window. It's another window at the top. It's like a little tab that's on the top of your computer.
It depends on if your screen's not centered, it might not be there. I had a hard time finding it. Just double click at the top of Craig's screen.
What about just hitting the escape button?
Try
Okay.
that.
Wait.
Did you get it?
No. I'm moving it, but if I get back on and try to get on my computer, it still puts your screen up.
Yeah, because you want basically it to be in its own little window or behind. So.
Click next to where Craig's name is at the top of the screen.
I'll share my screen one more time. This is actually a really critical thing, obviously. Well, I don't have to have the timer on. The timer's up anyway, but if you want to get to something when someone else is sharing their screen, that's going to be a valuable thing. But actually, for time's sake, we'll move on. So almost everybody's got it. Debbie, Denise, Jacqueline, Melissa, Penny, and Victoria. Penny's got it? Okay. Does everybody else have it? Victoria, you good? Who else here? Denise Gray, you got it? Oh, Victoria, I'm going to unmute you. You got it?
I can get it, but it's not fillable.
It's not fillable.
No, it just is, like a sheet of paper. It doesn't have the highlighted.
Okay.
So why don't you run one more time through it? Maybe because I did find the fillable one.
There's only one. All of them are fillable.
Okay.
And so are you on a Mac or a PC?
PC.
Mm-hmm. And so sometimes when you just view it in the browser, I'm using Chrome.
Okay.
But for you, what might work is just to print it and have an actual piece of paper.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. I was just going to do that. So I'm good.
Perfect. Okay. Thanks.
Thanks.
Click in the field, though.
You should be able to click in the field and it should do it. I use a Mac, and so it's sometimes a little different depending on your operating system and what's going on. But every time I know you can print, and if you find one of these around the house, this is a pen. These work like awesome. You'll be able to write stuff on that piece of paper. So, yep, you guys got it. Cindy, you got that? All right, so what we want to do now, because obviously if I said do a health assessment with somebody and you didn't actually have anywhere to write the information down, how are you going to track it? It's just pretend, right? So we want to actually help people, which means we actually have to write down their dreams because they're not writing them down. Most people don't write their dreams down, and that's why they don't achieve them. They're just somewhere out there in their head. So we're going to write down what they want and where they're at and what it means to them, okay? So now we're going to do a breakout room, and we're going to give you guys 20 minutes. Well, we'll do 10 and 10, which would be 20. So it's only going to be 10 minutes. And so at the 10-minute mark, you're going to switch, even if you don't have everything. But you're going to walk through, get the basics, answer the number one question, and maybe get one or two of the two. And then make sure then you go through how the four cornerstones and those two questions. These questions are critical. I'm gonna tell them to you again. The first question is, now that I've explained how our program works, how do you see this being different than the stuff you've done in the past? You want them to tell you why your program is amazing. Let them do the work. Now that you see how our program works, how do you see this being different than what you've done in the past? You can ask that any way you want it, but you're gonna have them compare what you just shared with them to everything they've done. And by the way, if they're considering working with you, everything they've done was not enough. Right? If it was, they'd already be a health coach, right? Anyway, so so you're going to have them unpack why that would be a value, why having community is going to be a value. Have them unpack it. And then that's the first question. And then the second one is, I know where you are. I know where you want to go. I'm certain I can get you there. Right? That's really critical wording there. I'm positive. I'm sure. There's no doubt in my mind. Maybe use a thesaurus and search for the word certain and see what other options you have, right? Pick one. I know where you are. I know where you want to get. I'm certain I can get you there. Then the only question I have for you is, when do you want to get started? And then stop talking. Do not say a word. And it will be terribly challenging when there is silence. You're going to be quaking in your boots if you have boots, right? Because you're going to be, what they're doing is they are thinking. They're doing value judgments. They're considering. They're doing all that kind of stuff. Let them. And then when they start speaking, then you go for, well, right now, well, something in the future, well, this, well, that. Okay, tell me more about that. What does that look like? You know, and then you'll work it out. All right. Now, I'm going to put everybody's hands down. We are going to go into breakout rooms. I'm going to give you 10 minutes each. And there's just going to be 2 per room. And Troy, why don't you bug out if you haven't already so you don't go in a room. And then if you need to leave and if you can't finish up the work study session, then you can leave now. Anyway, but for those of you who want to stay, this is where the best part of the training is going to happen right here, by the way. All right, so I'm going to create a breakout room. It's going to assign you into breakout rooms, and you're going to have 10 minutes for one person interview, and then I'll message you, and then you'll switch. Make sure, I'm going to give you at 9 minutes a notification, so you stop whatever you're doing and then go through the components and ask those 2 questions. All right, you want to make sure you get to the kind of the end where you give them an opportunity to say yes. All right? Okay, guys, get after it.
Come on.
All right, Sally, they're coming back. Allison! Melissa. Yeah, Melissa. All right, so for those of you the rest of the group is going to be coming back here shortly. I'm curious, how did that go? Just a little feedback here. You can just unmute yourself. Yeah, go ahead, Allison.
Actually, so Melissa and I were partners, and when we first started, we were trying to decide, do we want to share our current reality or go back, a few months and share before we got on program. And my breakthrough or my aha was that people may not be comfortable sharing exactly, their true selves. Like, as I was talking through this, I was reminded of how dire my situation was. And I think if somebody had done this assessment with me back then, I would not have been honest with myself or them. And so just remembering that this topic is really hard for people to talk about, or can be. And
depends
so
on how ready they are.
Yeah.
If they're really ready. So you're not super ready because you're past that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But back then, when you had this pain, you might be really ready. But that's why some of the questions too says, are you comfortable? I say, like when asked the weight, the last time you're on the scale, what did it say? Rather than saying, what do you weigh? Or are you comfortable with me sharing your age? you know, that, I guess that's nice. You can say that's a soft-sided way of saying, how old are you? But I don't find it that's too big of a deal anymore. But thank you, Allison. That's great. Denise, I will unmute you. Go ahead.
I found that a lot of people are so afraid of telling me, especially people that I know well, their weight. So I usually tell them, you don't have to tell me what your current weight is. Tell me how much you want to lose.
Mm-hmm.
And I can guess from there. And then after they start losing, they tell me where they started and what their weight is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. That's nice. So sometimes the way we ask a question, like I have people that get a similar response every time. And I'm like, well, I never get that response. And so the one common denominator is you. So there's something about the way you ask. If I have an issue with money and everybody that I'm talking to has an issue with money, that's on me, because I can talk to another coach that they rarely get the cost objection. Mm-hmm. And it's the way that they ask the question of the concepts they have. So, but that's a great way. So, last time you stepped on the scale, what did it say? To me, I've never had anybody, because you're not asking, what do you weigh? I don't want to tell you. The last time you stepped on the scale, what did it say? Well, it's been a while. Well, do you remember what it was? And it was kind of, they'll give me a ballpark. That's fine. Or you can say, so, you have to kind of unpack how much they want to lose too. That's a series of questions. What would it look like for you to be pretty good? What would it like you to be perfect? Trying to get to that real number. So thank you, Denise. Who else has something to share there or here? Okay. Well, then that's good for today. I just put in the chat the quiz for week number 3. So you can take that whenever you would like. But we are done for the work group session today. Remember, Tuesday at 7 a.m., we're going to do this again. So you get another chance to go through it. But start using this. Do a couple of these. You can read through this. Take 10 minutes and read through each one of these questions and look at page number 2 and learn what's in here and what kinds of information are good to track. And I recommend that if you're not currently using this, just transition today. And this is now the form you're going to use, right? So that way you have uniformity. Because if you put feet in both camps, it'll be harder to make the switch. And this is it's a good thing to ask. So
Hey,
Carolyn, go ahead.
I had a couple of quick questions. One is that I know that there was another one similar to this that you had posted in your boot camp thing, and this is an upgrade of that. Do you think that they're going to continue to upgrade on this? I really like this new health assessment, by the way.
Right.
I'm just going to go print some out. I guess just print out a few.
Sure. Yeah. Print them out as you need them. You don't need to print out 50. Yeah. But unless you're really killing it, right? But print out 2 or 3 or 4. That's great. Okay. The answer to your question is, will this be improved over time? The answer is yes. Will it be kind of the same rhythm and flow? Yes.
Okay.
Right? This is pretty good. I haven't seen one better than this. This is pretty
No, I haven't. Of all the ones, because I have to tell you, when the other ones, the health and well-being tracker and all that came out, I was not, there was just no room to write anything or anything like this. Is really great. So the other question is on your well-being, and I know you covered this on doing the well-being evaluation versus the health assessment. I really feel this does the same thing, although it does not cover finances and healthy mind as much. But the one on your site, and I know our sites are changing, I tried to send that out, and I sent it to myself, and I didn't receive it in email. Are they having issues with the one that's on your ordering site? Do you know?
Great question. I received one yesterday, so I don't know.
You did? Okay. All right. Well, maybe they didn't fill it out. Right. Do they have to put their name, their email, and push submit, or you won't get it?
Yes.
They have to fill in the bottom part that they get it too, and push submit, or you won't get it.
If they don't hit submit, you won't get it.
Okay. Got
All right, guys. We will see you on Tuesday. Don't forget to go to the Facebook page and and take the quiz. And if you want, just click that link in the chat right now before I close the window, and then you can go there and take that now. 5 quick questions. We'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody.